This video was never meant to exist. Some of the texts you're about to hear were locked away in Edgar Cayce's archives for decades, never released in full. Too mystical, too dangerous, and far too accurate. Because if what he said is true, then what you're living right now isn't just a life. It's a test, a soul-level exam, and what happens after it ends depends on whether you pass. Are you an old soul or a new one? Who are you, really? This is not a TikTok trend or another internet quiz. It's a decoded transmission. From over 14,000 trance sessions, Edgar Cayce shared knowledge that baffled even scientists, describing subtle energy bodies, karma, soul reincarnation, and the deeper meaning of pain, mission, and human consciousness. And among these revelations, he spoke of a mysterious division between old and young souls. Not wise versus foolish, but souls who remember and souls who don't. Old souls carry a memory of lives no one recalls. New souls? They're here for the very first time, learning, failing, falling, living for the first time. So everything cuts deeper. But how can you tell which one you are? In one of his most restricted sessions, Cayce revealed 9 hidden signs that reveal a soul's true age. These are not based on dates, numerology, or astrology. They are patterns, reactions, inescapable inner experiences. Old souls walk through this world like exiles. Young souls? They're still learning the language of reality. In this video, you'll uncover why the "I've been here before" feeling is more than intuition, what links old souls with pain, loneliness, and the sense of not belonging, how young souls often trigger global upheaval, and why that's necessary, what kinds of souls are most common in your generation, and what's changing, and most importantly, how to recognize yourself through resonance, not esoterica. This is a reconstructed investigation. We've compiled transcripts, archived notebooks, and fragments from little-known Cayce readings. You're about to hear things meant to stay locked in the past. But be warned, some truths, once heard, can never be forgotten. Are you ready? Then let's begin. Edgar Cayce believed that a human being is not a body, not a mind, not even emotions. A human is a soul. Everything else, the body, the thoughts, even the personality, is just clothing the soul wears to attend a school of experience. According to Cayce, the soul is far older than we can possibly imagine. It comes from a higher source, God, or whatever name you give it. But to evolve, it journeys through lifetimes. Each life is a class. Each failure, an exam. And what we call the age of a soul is really the amount of experience it's gathered across dimensions. Young souls are just beginning. They're new to the human experience, drawn to intense sensations. They often choose lives full of extremes, passion, chaos, power, desire. They want to feel everything: wealth, struggle, sex, fame. They might act impulsively or selfishly, not because they're bad, but because they're still learning what actions mean. They don't yet carry the memory of how their choices can wound. They're like children, full of curiosity, unaware of danger. Old souls are different. Cayce described them as those who have already walked many paths. They're drawn not to noise, but to silence, not to image, but essence, not to accumulation, but release. Old souls often incarnate during times of crisis, when the world is tilting off balance. They come to restore equilibrium, and deep inside, they remember, we've been here before. Old souls feel like strangers in this world. They sense truth where others see illusion. They often cannot explain why. They just know. They walk with the wisdom of someone who's seen this movie before and already knows how it ends. One of Cayce's most cryptic trance sessions, never fully published, included this line, handwritten in the margin: "The soul returns not for pleasure, nor for chance, but until it learns to be light in the darkness." Here's where it gets deeper. Cayce taught that the soul chooses when to return. There's no punishment, only process. Young souls come back for experience. Old souls return for completion. But he warned, old souls often choose the hardest lives. Why? Because they know that pain forges growth. They choose hardship not because they deserve it, but because their soul is ready for its final lessons. Are there many old souls on Earth today? Cayce said yes, because the world is at a turning point, and in such epochs, waves of old souls incarnate to help humanity remember. They are rarely loud, often invisible, but they feel everything. They carry light. They seek depth in a world obsessed with surfaces. One question Cayce asked in a private session still echoes today. What are you seeking in this life? Comfort or truth? Because the soul isn't defined by what it earns. It's defined by what it seeks. The 9 signs Cayce used to identify old souls are coming next. But for now, pause. Ask yourself, do you sometimes feel like you've lived before? Did you sense, even as a child, that you didn't quite belong? Do you find deep meaning where others see nothing? Do you carry a memory that can't be explained? If so, it may not be your imagination. Now, the moment this video was built for. These are not just psychological traits, not personality types. These are spiritual fingerprints revealed during trance readings, meant to help us recognize the hidden age of our own soul. Let's walk through each one. 1. You feel like you've always been older than your body. As a child, you may have looked around and thought, why does no one else see this? You understood people's emotions long before you had the words. You may have even felt frustration, as if trapped in a body that didn't match your inner age. This isn't superiority, it's memory. 2. You are often drawn to solitude, but you're not lonely. Old souls are not antisocial. They simply recharge in stillness. Cayce wrote, "The older the soul, the more it seeks God in silence. You may enjoy people, but large crowds exhaust you, because too much noise pulls you away from your center." 3. You carry a mysterious kind of sadness, even in happy times. It's not depression. It's not grief. It's a weight of memory. Like you've seen too much, lost too much, lived through too many endings. Old souls often carry emotional residue from previous lives, even if they don't consciously remember them. 4. You feel deeply responsible, even for things that are not your fault. This is one of the heaviest signs. Old souls often overfunction in relationships. They try to fix others. They feel the pain of the world in their body. Cayce warned, be mindful. Old souls are not here to carry the burden of others. They are here to light the path. 5. You remember dreams that feel older than you, recurring images, unknown faces, distant places. Sometimes you dream of ancient times and wake up with a sense of knowing. These dreams aren't random. Cayce believed dreams are the soul's language, and old souls speak it fluently. 6. You resist systems and seek meaning beyond rules. Old souls often clash with education, religion, government, or tradition. They don't rebel for the sake of rebellion. They rebel for truth. They ask, why are we doing this? And if the answer is, because we always have, it's not enough. 7. You form intense, inexplicable bonds. You meet someone and feel like you've known them forever. Sometimes this brings joy, sometimes pain, but always depth. Old souls often reunite with other souls from past lives. Cayce called them soul clusters, people who meet again and again in different roles to complete unfinished lessons. 8. You feel that your purpose is bigger than your career. You might succeed in business, art, or science. But deep down, you know it's not the point. Your true compass is meaning. What did I come here to do? Who am I becoming? 9. You've been through unusual levels of pain and grown from it. Old souls often choose lives that include suffering, not because they enjoy it, but because they understand its purpose. Pain is not punishment. It is alchemy. Cayce said, "Old souls do not suffer for guilt. They suffer to gain light." These signs aren't a checklist. You don't need to check all 9. Even 3 or 4 of them, felt deeply, may point to a soul that's traveled far. But here's the catch. Old souls often don't believe they're old souls. They doubt. They question. They feel broken, not wise. Because remembering who you are is the final test. According to Cayce, old souls rarely gather in crowds. They find each other in strange ways. A stranger says something that cracks you open. A child looks at you with ancient eyes. A book calls you at the exact right time. These aren't coincidences. They're part of what Cayce called the soul network. You may have already noticed this in your life. Some people feel instantly familiar, even if you've never met. Some conversations feel older than your friendship. This is the old soul's hidden map, a map of memory, not location. Cayce believed that as Earth entered times of transition, old souls would be called to wake up, not to escape the world, but to anchor it, to remind the planet what it forgot, to help shift the center of gravity back to compassion. One of the most shocking things he predicted, that in the 21st century, there would be a flood of young souls, and with them, chaos. Why? Because young souls build systems of control. They chase power, money, surface truth. But when too many young souls dominate, humanity loses its compass. That's why old souls are needed now more than ever. They remember what matters, even when it hurts, even when it isolates. Cayce said, "The soul does not rise by perfection, it rises by memory." Old souls don't come to Earth to be better, they come to remember, and to help others remember too. So what can you do? If you resonated with what you heard, start by trusting yourself. Old souls often doubt their path because it's lonely. But Cayce reminded, only those who walk alone see the stars. Find your stillness, listen to your dreams, speak with honesty, and when you meet another old soul, look them in the eyes. You'll both remember, you were not sent here to repeat, you were sent to complete. You carry echoes of places no longer on maps. You are here not to fit in, but to wake up, but to wake. Cayce once whispered at the end of a session, "Do not ask if the soul survives death. Ask instead if it can survive forgetting." If you watch this far, you already know. You're not new here. Leave a comment. I remember, not for us, but for those still searching. Because sometimes it takes just one voice to awaken another. And if you want to go even deeper, if you wonder what science, not mysticism, says about the soul, you need to hear what Albert Einstein revealed before his death about consciousness, death, and the quantum secret of the soul. Watch next. The deleted interview. Einstein's final words on death, the soul, and consciousness. Because where Cayce intuited the truth, Einstein measured it.